Hi everyone, kind of doing an impromptu live feed tonight. I I put out a video earlier. We went on a bit of a holiday with the kids and that was great fun. You've probably seen some of the vehicles. I figure I haven't done a garage tour yet since I got it set up, and I don't think I ever did a garage tour as part of the house build series that we did either. But I thought today would be a great day, a great opportunity to walk you through and show you some of the stuff that's going on in here. And to those of you that are watching this right now, it's live. If you're watching this after the fact, you'll probably hear me answering some questions from people, kind of chatting back and forth, but that's neither here nor there. One of the things I get asked about a lot is that you've seen, I did a video on the Volkswagen Camper, you've seen the Mustang, and some of the other stuff that I've got in here have been on videos. But the one car that hasn't been on the videos is the Porsche. And so many people were saying, when are you going to finally show this thing on camera? When are you going to talk about the Porsche? So I figured today would be a good opportunity to do that. And hello to everybody joining us. We got Ohio, Arizona, lots of people on. I'm going to flip this around. This is the current setup in the garage. I'm going to get up on my stairs here to kind of show you. Somehow was able to squeeze 7 cars in here. And actually, there is enough room. I have the Porsche and the Volkswagen are kind of spread out. There is room for another one. So I guess it's an 8-car garage, which we built it as an oversized 6. But you know, when you park stuff close enough, it's surprising what you can fit in here. So Melissa does have her spot right at the door. That was the whole idea, that she could, you know, come in with the kids and they're into the mudroom and all that. And then kind of the excess of the fun stuff that I've been working on. So let's, I guess I'll talk about the Porsche a little bit first, because nobody is really, you know, not many people have seen this on there. And Brian said, looks like a car museum. That's kind of the idea. Having a few of the favorite sort of cars that I oogled or wanted when I was a kid. Somebody said, what are you trying to do? Make it look like Jay Leno's place? I think Jay Leno has got a little bit more going on than I do. In fact, I've got lots of friends who have way more cars than I do. Although this is more than I ever imagined I'd ever have in my life. And I'm very grateful that life has led me down this journey where even just the thought of having a garage would have seemed like, you know, some sort of excess privilege, let alone having a garage I could fit all this cool stuff in. And my sister Heather's on. Hi, Heather. We'll be seeing her soon in Colorado in a few weeks. So this is a Porsche 911. You've probably recognize the body style. I'm sure many of you have seen these cars around before. What's neat about this one though, is that it was essentially a one owner car. The fellow that I got it from, his mom bought it brand new, or bought it new, and unfortunately she passed, and he had it totally restored at great expense. Actually, the Guild of Automobile Restorers in Ontario did it. They're a pretty high-end shop. They have their own TV show. They did this car. They did the paint and body on it. And when I got it, it had been sitting in storage after a fresh restoration. I ended up buying it, thankfully, for about half the cost of the restoration. It's always better if you can to buy a vehicle that's been restored and you don't have to spend the money on it. So we ended up picking this up. So this is a 1969. I prefer the earlier body styles. They have the slim bumpers. They don't have the bigger North American style bumpers. It's got the slim European bumpers. It's got the chrome horn grills. It's got a longer hood that kind of slopes down. And many of these cars in the 1980s and 90s were converted to have sort of a newer look. People thought their Porsches were starting to look outdated. So you find them, and some of them have been modified where they've been cut and a different bumper put on to make it look like a newer one. Or worse, they put on the fender flares or the whale tail. Nobody did that on this because it was a one-owner vehicle. It was just really decently maintained. And it's kind of an odd color being white. A lot of times you find them, a lot of them are red. And the only other paint job this car had was from white to red, and then he put it back to the original color. Things that I'm working on this vehicle right now. Now this is a 911T. So although it is a 911, the T stands for touring, not turbo. The interior is basically all original. But for those of you that are purists, you'll notice it has a 1980s stereo in here. And that always drives me nuts when it's got the wrong deck in there. You know, I prefer having the factory stereo in a vehicle like this. So I am actually going to be putting it back. I'll just kind of zoom out so you can kind of see Interior is in good shape. Really not much to speak of. I've been driving this car, it drives great. But I found an original Becker Carrera stereo to go back in there in working condition. So although this would have had like a Blaupunkt, anyway, these are all details that you guys probably don't really care about. But the moral of the story is I'm putting in more of a factory correct radio in it. That's going to be probably my job over the next day or two here. Other than that, this car really doesn't need much of anything. Has a small oil leak, which is really common on Porsches. If you're not aware, they leak like crazy. So anyway, it's a really nice car. It's in nice original condition, and you know, that's the Porsche. So I haven't done a video. I will do a video driving this thing. I'll hook up like my I do have a GoPro. I do have all the gadgets you guys always tell me to buy. I just don't use them that much. But I will take some driving shots and go on a nice tour in this thing, hopefully very soon. Next to it, we've got the Volkswagen Camper that you guys saw me working on the other day. I will get this thing painted. It's not just that the paint is faded on it. It's just a really poor paint job. It's not a rusty vehicle by any means, but it had a few little scrapes and dents, and somebody spray bombed it is what they did. So to bring it back to the way it should be, it's going to need a new paint job at some point. So yeah, somebody said they're interested in the details. Well, I'll mention as many as feels relevant. But isn't this just the cutest little interior? Look, I've got my Febreze in here. I've been airing it out because it smelled like old camper for a while. But somebody said, why on earth would you do it with the green carpet like that and have the plaid seats? Well, that's what it was in the 70s. I wanted this thing back to factory original. I wanted this to be as close as possible. So that is factory correct carpeting. I don't know if I can get close enough. You can kind of see it's like multicolored green. And I like the 70s era plaid. I know these curtains may or may not go the other direction. There was some debate about that, but I actually like them with the yellow out. That way when the doors close, it looks all yellow and uniform. I'm gonna pop my head up here. Oh, let me flip it around. Look, it's a vehicle and it's a tent. This is one of my favorite vehicles that I have, to be honest with you. It's not the prettiest, it's not the most expensive, but it's just cute and it's fun, and there's nothing quite like it. It barely makes it up a hill. But how many vehicles do you know that, well, I mean, it's kind of a neat one, that it turns into a house. And people are probably saying, Alex, that's any RV. But it's small. It's like, it's hard to describe. This vehicle is big and it's small at the same time. You know, where it's got a camper interior and it seats 4 or 5 people, and it's got the pop-up top. But if you look, hang on, let me show you this. If you look, it's actually almost the same exact length as the Porsche. The only thing really sticking out is this tire is sticking out a little bit further, but otherwise these cars are both backed up against the wall. A Volkswagen bus is not much longer than an old Porsche 911. So who knew, right? Somebody said it looks like you had a couple holes in the back. They've been patched already, the little holes that were back there. Somebody sewed up a patch on the outside, but it's all right. Somebody said you're ready for the Grateful Dead tour. Yeah, that would be fun if Jerry Garcia was still around. And of course, we got the Mustang, which I had out today. I was having a little bit of issue with it overheating on me. And I feel so silly because I changed the thermostat. That didn't do it. I had the radiator flushed because I saw junk floating around in there. That didn't do it. And I brought it down a little bit. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to check the oil. Well, the oil was low. And guess what? That resolved it. So now no more, it wasn't overheating, but it was running a little bit warm. It was just a little low on oil, and that's resolved it. The Metropolitan, one of the cutesiest little cars ever. I just need to bleed the brakes on it. So we're gonna bleed the brakes out on this. It runs fine. It shifts. Like the radio and everything works in it. So Dagmar says, did the Volkswagen have a musty smell? Not anymore. It did. I've been busy cleaning the interior, fresh upholstery, Febrezing like crazy. Oh, and I don't even think Melissa's seen this. I had an addition. I'll try not to walk too fast because I don't want to give make everybody dizzy there. But when we had our last Volkswagen, we had the Hula Girl on the dash. So now we've got the Hula Girl back on the dash of this one. Just a fun vehicle all around. So, and of course the E-Type Jag, which is 66 E-Type. And yeah, my brother, apparently my new brother Steve, who I've never met, is a big Grateful Dead fan and went to a lot of their concerts. That and Fish. So he was a Volkswagen Camper guy too. As for the old Daimler, I actually started working on it again today. I've taken a hiatus from it. I washed it yesterday. I got all the dust off of it that was on here. All the dust is off that was on here. I did hook my fuel line back up. It's not pumping fuel, but that's okay. But what I'm going to do today, what I'm actually doing after I do this live feed, I've got my gear all set up to do it, is I'm going to pull off the damaged door and start getting this kind of, tap that dent out. I want to straighten the hinge that's bent here so we can tighten that gap up, because it's got a big, like a 1/2 inch gap at the top there from where it got whipped open in the wind. So the door is coming up. Ooh, don't worry, that wasn't me. I don't have a bean filled diet. That was the door scraping. But because the hinge is bent on it, it's not sitting right. So all these screws have to come out. I got one out, and then I thought, you know what, I'll do a live feed before I do this. I've got to repair the snapped wood here, get some glass put in. Anyway, I've got work to do on this particular door, and I figure I may as well focus on getting the door fixed, because frankly, I know the engine runs in this thing. I'm certain it will drive, even if I get it towed into a shop to get them to make it run properly. The thing that's going to prevent it from being drivable is that door. And I can do a good majority of the work on that door myself. So I'm going to move my resources over to this, pull this door off today, and then start on the hinges and get this pulled off and over to my little workspace here, which is, the main problem with this whole car. It's a really neat vehicle. I mean, it's a big one. Look at the back seat space. I'm sure I showed you guys this before, but this was a limousine. It's got the glass dividers in it. Let me tell you, after having 3 kids and now they're turning into teenagers, I definitely appreciate the thought of having glass dividers sometimes. And then you've got your pop-up jump seats. There's 2 of those. So if you need a little extra gear going on. Kathy says this would make a great wedding car. Well, that's exactly what it was. It was my understanding of the vehicle. I'll try and get back here. I can't zoom out when I'm in this mode, unfortunately, so it's super zoomed in. Is that this car was a royal tour car. So probably not used to carry the queen herself, although you never know, but probably part of her entourage when she was engaged or first married in the 40s. Was later owned by the mayor of Bath, as it turns out, and then brought over to Canada and was used by a limousine company and was chauffeured around brides and grooms. It was used as a wedding car until that door flew open. I'm sure they probably would have kept using it as a wedding car if that hadn't have happened. But all around, it's actually not a bad vehicle other than the damage on the door, the fact it's been sitting a long time. It was a very well-maintained vehicle. It's the thing with fleet vehicles like that. They're inspected rigorously to make sure they're safe under their taxi or limousine license. So it was a well-maintained vehicle. Probably brought in a lot of money for them too. I mean, that would have been a cool car to have, your wedding in. So there we go. Or use for your wedding. Not that you get married in it. Mind you never know, but. So I'm working on that. And then of course my bikes, we got this little moped, which I use to go check the mail in the area. My Honda GB500, which is my my sort of daily rider when I ride. And then we've got the little Honda 50, but it's got the cafe race package on it. Spare tires, the usual garage stuff. Dave says, Alex, you need a Hot Wheels display case on the wall. What's funny is that I sold oil cans and I sold old gasoline signs and stuff, but what I decided to put on the walls in this garage was, that's the 1920s racing bike that I pulled out of a barn. Some of you might remember that episode where I found that. I think that thing's a work of art. It's a velodrome race bike. It's just cool. So I've got that on the wall. I've got artwork, things that I think are neat, but not a lot of old oil and gas signs and stuff. I wanted this to feel like a showroom. And somebody says, so you really have 9 vehicles. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's see. Yeah, we've got 7 in here. The motorcycles I don't really count. And of course, I got my old Ford truck, which I drive, which is around the side. So yeah, it's pretty full. But if you see me driving around Edmonton, most often I'm in the old Ford. That's what I'm on. All right, cut out for a second there. I guess I can't wander too far away from the garage. It's summoning me back to come and work on vehicles today. So basically what I'm doing with my downtime right now is I'm going out and I'm buying antiques and collectibles and reselling. Sorry about that, guys. I guess yeah, I walked out around the side and my Wi-Fi connection was not happy with me. But I am basically just kind of going through and getting things buttoned down on the cars. The radio and the Porsche, the oil leaks taken care of, the getting the camper van taken care of. I'm basically working my way through the interior and mechanical and that. So there's a lot of maintenance that I've been doing to kind of keep things rolling here, and that's what I'm doing today. So I'm gonna get back to it, guys. I'm gonna try and get the door off of that old limousine and put it on the table here and get the hinges pounded out and straightened out. So wish me luck that thing doesn't weigh 10,000 pounds. I can haul it over here, no problem. And for the rest of you, stay tuned for more videos, more episodes and stuff. But yeah, this is kind of what's going on. Just having fun working on cars and enjoying the beautiful summer weather. So I'm gonna get back to it, guys. We'll see y'all soon. And as always, oh geez, I almost forgot. This was also the last video that was sponsored by Manscaped. So they sponsored some of our videos last month, and this is the last live feed that they sponsored. So thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. And you can definitely go on, check the link in the description below and follow the link there and you get a discount too. So check that out. We'll see you guys soon and bye for now.